You got to know social, bro. You
He
got to
didn't
know
know social.
social.
He
You got
didn't
to
know
know how to
social.
push your message, and you got to have the message that matters. Whoever, what's it called? Mamdani is doing exactly what Trump did.
Yes, I said that. Yes,
Freeze
absolutely.
the rent is build the wall.
Affordability.
What did Trump say? He said, we're going to build the wall and Mexicans are going to pay for it. Mamdani came in, he goes, we're going to freeze the rent and billionaires are going to pay for it. It's like you can see this amazing parallel in terms of their populism.
Trump said, I won the election off one word, groceries. Mamdani's like, I'm winning the election off one word, affordability. Well,
It's rent, bro.
I think it's affordability.
Yo, here's the thing.
What is his plan? I don't actually know.
He never has, by the way, when he gets asked that at the debate, he never has an answer for it.
Who?
Mamdani.
Yes, he does. What are you talking about?
What was the plan?
Like, you talking about it?
No,
rent?
repeat it. What is his plan?
Well, he's going to freeze rent and he's going to build affordable housing.
All right, so here's how you do it.
The rent has gotten freezed.
I'm a landlord,
in the past.
so I don't like that.
Refreeze that. You're not giving me a plan. How?
I'll tell you how.
No,
I'll tell you how he's saying that he is going to endeavor to do it. Okay. The mayor appoints the board of
Rent
people,
control board.
the rent control board.
Yeah.
So there are certain people that are already there. They might be open to his ideas. They might not. But within 2 years, all their terms will have come up and he will have appointed all new ones. So within 2 years, he can freeze the rents on rent stabilized or rent control apartments in New York. That represents about 50% of the apartments in New York.
That high?
55%, yeah, or 50%, I think. So the other 50% are just free market. Okay, did I already lose you? You already texted somebody else?
No.
So you asked me a question and go on your phone.
I'm got you, man. I'm multitasking. I'm really just looking up something.
So the other 50% of the apartments in New York are on the free market. Okay. So he cannot touch those. Okay. So what people would say and what I was telling him is like, listen, you could freeze the rent within 2 years on the rent control, rent stabilized apartments, but what that's going to do is put more pressure on the free market rents. Because what happens is, as we know, if you grow up in a city, if you get a rent stabilized or rent control apartment, you don't leave that shit.
Right.
You just do not leave it. And if
yeah.
you're going to freeze the rent there, you double not going to leave it. Now, there are shitty landlords that try to push people out. It happened to my boy Carlos growing up. They just stop accepting your rent. They're doing anything they can to get the rent stabilized people out so that they can turn over the building. That is a thing that does happen. But then I also have friends that had a rent stabilized apartment, but they had a house up in Hudson Valley.
They rent the stabilized apartment,
or they pass it down. Like they find
Had
ways.
these side chicks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get your side chick in a rent stabilized, right? She can't have free market pussy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's cheating.
Come on, that's Dubai.
Yeah.
That's why we
absolutely.
Absolutely. No. So basically what happens is 50. So what you could say is by freezing this 50%, it's going to spike the rent on this 50%. And then what he says is over the next 10 years, he's going to build 200,000 units. Now, how is he going to do
over the next 10 years?
Yes.
Okay.
So how is he going to do that, right? He plans on doing some Doge stuff in Doge's inception, which is like creating more efficiency models in the city, punishing landlords for having these vacant apartments and raising taxes on the rich to create 30 billion of those $100 billion he says he's gonna raise. And then the other 70 billion he wants to sell municipal bonds, which are essentially bonds for the city. Now here's the thing. He can't sell those bonds without asking Albany to increase the debt ceiling. And if he has a governor there that is not willing to do that, because it might, create a lower bond rating for the bonds of the state, then there's a chance that he won't be able to sell that many and get that money. So that's the restriction there. He will be able to freeze rents for those 50%. That could cause a spike over here. And if he doesn't loosen up the regulation for people to actually build stuff, which is the only thing that will solve rent problems. The only thing that will solve rent problems is if you let developers develop. And unfortunately, there are a bunch of regulation in the city right now that basically makes it financially not feasible to build anything over 99 units.
Where do you even build in New York City?
Commercial? Did he talk about converting commercial real estate? Because to me, that's the
I think about 1515 building. That's not going to be Caesar's Palace no more, but it was going to be a hotel. So someplace like that could probably work.
This is the tricky thing. 1515 is where we did MTV back in the day. It's like so basically the tricky thing about converting office space or commercial to real estate to residential is you can only convert the building if there's not a single existing tenant that's on a commercial lease. If there's one tenant in the whole 50-story building that's on a 10-year lease, you can't. You can maybe pay them to leave, but you can't do it. You can find ways to try to pay them to get out, but if they got a nice deal and they have their office and their business is profitable, why the fuck are they trying to move? That's very difficult. Another issue with the office space is that it wasn't built for residential, so there's not proper air, there's not proper access to lighting and windows. That's costly to kind of renovate.
Right.
So there are issues with just flipping a building over. It's not as simple. Like these
At all.
midtown office buildings are built different than just a random office building in fucking Albuquerque.
So I ask again, where are you going to build new housing in New York City?
Well, even if you want to build new housing, anything you build, you got to go through Albany. You have to get approval from these different boards. So no matter what,
That's actually what I was looking up. I was looking up all the reasons he couldn't do it.
yeah, ULERP.
Huh?
ULERP
Shut the
is
fuck
like
up.
the
Oh, I thought I thought you had.
I wish I did. Yeah.
Also, you're
USLERP would have been great.
you're thinking of only New York City, like Manhattan, but there are the 5 boroughs. There's a lot of land in Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx.
Yeah.
There is place for affordable housing.
You got to want to live out there, though.
Yeah,
People will.
Yeah, people will. Trust
People
me.
will.
People
So
don't
it's-
want to leave New York.
Listen, you can make.
That's not true.
Say again.
He said people don't want to leave New York.
Well,
That's not true.
So here's the thing. People, it's not, I don't think anybody wants to leave New York. It's the greatest city in the world. I also don't think we want billionaires to leave New York. Like I was just telling the guys this, it's like what makes New York amazing is you have billionaires to pay for all the expensive shit and poor artists to make everything cool.
Right.
And when you have both of them together, you have the most magnificent city in the history of the world.
But
When
you know what you need billionaires paying the most? Their fair share of taxes.
Oh no, everybody's on board with that. But
Okay.
keep in mind, they'll never do it. That's
No.
just for you and I to pay. You and I pay
Oh, God.
their taxes. You know that, right?
Oh.
Anyway, so but my point is like if you just have billionaires, you got like San Jose or like the nerdy tech places. Nobody wants to fucking live there because it's just all dorks. And if you have only like artists, you have Portland. Nobody wants to fucking live there, right? Well, I guess they have like Amazon and that kind of shit. But you have like the shitty like hipstery places that suck. When you got the rich motherfuckers willing to pay for the crazy shit and the cool broke artists that are willing to make things interesting and fun to go see, you got this amazing amalgamation of people.
And it increases the value of what the rich guys already have, which is why I don't understand they don't
those
get
rich
it.
guys,
Right.
there's a part of me. It's like you're not really seeing the
Right.
value
It's
of
an
poor
ecosystem.
creatives. Yes,
It's like the fucking frog eating the...
exactly. And if you take one of those animals out of it, the whole
falls
thing
apart.
falls apart.
Falls
So it's
apart.
like, but on the same point, if you take those billionaires out of here, shit's gonna fall apart.
Sure.
So we need to create an ecosystem. The problem is the cost of living because of fucking bullshit. I don't want to say bullshit. Maybe well-intentioned legislation that ended up having negative results. Has completely stopped the construction of huge buildings in New York City. It's just stopped.